What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Making Podcasts Great Again. I am your sleep deprived tech stuff guy, Jay Nog, and we are here, of course, with the president of Mar-a-Lago of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, happy Memorial Day.
Best memory in the country. So we're always happy to celebrate Memorial. The day. It's the day. The Baltimore Memorials. Remember them? They played strong baseball. You had Cal Ripken Jr. because there was actually a senior, but in that case, Cal Ripken Jr. was actually better than senior, which, as you know, doesn't happen too often. And
No,
in some families, junior is a total disgrace compared to senior.
are you referring to your family?
Oh,
Well, you have a Donald Trump Jr. So you're talking about juniors.
well, I think we can always assume that we're not speaking too highly of Don Jr.
What did you do on Memorial Day? Did you play around a golf today? What did you do today?
Well, it was the last day of the month, and Melatonin hadn't done her contractually obligated sex acts yet.
Okay.
So we woke up to a strong breakfast of McGriddles, and and then I said, "Here, take your morning Ambien with your cup of coffee." And I then had very strong patriotic lovemaking with a comatose melanoma, and so that was obviously that's a great day, a way to start a great day to honor our fallen troops. And then mesothelioma and I got in the Trump mobile, that's what I call it, and our driver took us to the gravesite of a fallen patriot, one Ashley Babbitt. I don't know if you're familiar with Ashley Babbitt, but she is a former Air Force, so obviously somebody who served our country. And then she fought so strongly when she didn't have to. She fought so strongly for the most sacred cause in our country's history, and that's my reelection. And she jumped through a window while a patriotic group called Capitol Police the N word. I could say it. I have Kanye's permission, but I won't. And, just a patriotic group of Americans screaming the N word at the police because we love our law enforcement. I think they meant it as a term of endearment. Nobody ever says that. We don't know if they were saying it with the hard R. They might have been saying Blue Lives Matter, my N word with an A instead of a hard R. And nobody ever brings that up, though. Nobody ever brings that up. But Ashley Babbitt was the patriot, former Air Force person who jumped through the window, I think just to compliment the Capitol Police officer on what a strong job they were doing because she loves law enforcement. And in the middle of that peaceful protest where she was breaking into the Capitol and some of her friends were screaming the N word, she was struck down in one of the most disgraceful assassinations in our country's history. It's Lincoln, it's JFK, it's Roger Babbitt.
Roger Rabbit? Isn't her name Ashley Babbitt, you just said?
Oh, I said Roger Babbitt. If and I think people say maybe she was doing the Roger Rabbit, and the cop thought, and maybe she was just doing strong dance moves. And obviously, if she was African American and doing the Roger Rabbit and got shot, people would be protesting and saying, "How could you kill this fine young man who was just dancing a strong dance?" But instead, because she was white, she was struck down, and it's total racism. And uh, we put flowers at her gravesite, and it was very moving, to be honest. It was, even though I'm not the president, according to the fake news, it was very presidential of me.
But the storming of the Capitol wasn't considered by the public, and I think by everyone except for you and maybe some of your followers. It was not considered an act of heroism. It wasn't considered anything positive. It was storming of the Capitol. It wasn't a protest. They were trying to take over the Capitol and violently. and they disrespected the Capitol. They tried to hunt down different Democrats in the Capitol. How would you
And
see
Mike
this person
Pence
as?
and Mike Pence. It was bipartisan. Mike Pence as well.
But how would you see this as a positive thing? Because your name's involved and
Oh
they're doing it
no,
for you?
excuse me, tech stuff guy. On this Memorial Day, I didn't want to have to get into this. Oh, but guess what? When a person named George Washington had to kill a bunch of British people, oh no, was that? I guess that was we should condemn. You probably want to cancel George Washington, okay?
No, it's another country who was trying to
Excuse
take
me,
over
he's the
our
father of
country.
the country, or as Mike Pence calls him, the daddy of the country. And you probably want to cancel him. And that's typical of liberal tech stuff people. And I think it's a total disgrace. And you should be ashamed of yourself. Sometimes you have to spill blood to fight for your freedom. And Ashley Babbitt, like I said, she was just doing the Ashley Rabbit, her own dance. And, you break the glass and you shake the hand of the dance. You've seen it on TikTok, the Ashley Babbitt. You knock out a window and then you shake the hand of a cop and you do a little dance, make a little love, get shot tonight.
That's called the Ashley Rabbit.
Yes, and not to be confused with Ashley Madison, which, is a strong website.
Ashley Madison, they were doing so much promotion, so many commercials on TV. I have not seen one advertisement for them in a while. Are they doing that well, or they have just went down?
Uh, no comment, but I will say they almost canceled my account because of the talk about how I was getting divorced. And I said, no, 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 it's okay. I am cheating on my wife. Please don't kick me off the site.
Well, I'm glad you're still a gold or a platinum member.
Well, I have a punch card, and on my next appointment, I get to give a free facial.
I- I-
This is almost bonus material. This is almost bonus episode level content.
I did not know that. The perks of Ashley Madison with a punch card. That's very impressive. Now, I'm glad you had a nice. Did you golf today by any chance? I figured you would golf on Memorial Day.
No, well, I golf I golf every day,
Okay.
and I I had a round of 32 course record
So
by
for most
30 strokes.
so for most of the holes from the tee box, you just hit it right in.
You know what? It was. They said, "Sir, we've never seen 7 holes in one on a back nine." And I said, "Well, now you have."
Very, very impressive. Your golf game is getting really good.
Well, and considering I had a dead black caddy last week, they were actually impressed that I bounced back so strongly.
It's very, very impressive. I'm glad you had a nice Memorial Day, and I want to ask you about
Although I
this.
convinced Ivanka, I told her we have a little humor. I told her it was Mammary Day and that she couldn't wear a bra, so she's been walking around with great breasts all day.
Now, I have a question. Is this Memorial Day or is it Memorial Day? What is this to you? Because you're talking about your memories and then you're also talking about the troops, or is it both? I'm confused. What is actually Memorial Day?
It's the day where the troops honor me for my great memory. So it involves troops as well, strong
Okay.
troops.
Strong troops and strong memory.
Well, stronger memory. I mean, I respect the troops, but I don't. My memory is a little bit better than the troops, and I'm tweeting that right now.
You're on Twitter again?
Oh, you know what I say? Twitter. Yeah, it's what I got to admit.
Parlor.
You actually it's Parla. You actually got me there, tech stuff.
What is it
Normally I say
called?
you're wrong, but yeah, I'm showing. Excuse me, I'm showing that I can admit when I make a
Error?
when Zoom mishears what I meant to say. And
So, so you're saying the computer from when your microphone, the computer didn't understand what you were saying, and Zoom messed up.
Exactly, and it's a China app, so it's totally understandable that they'd want to, make my messages sound not as strong.
What do they call it on Twitter? It's a tweet. On Parlor, what is it called when you post something?
When you post on Parlor, it's called a gangbang.
So everyone's like, "How many gangbangs did you post today?" Uh, that's great. Now, I wanted to stay on the topic of Memorial Day. Um, Kamala Harris, she tweeted something or made a comment. It was something about having a nice 3-day weekend, and there was no mention of the soldiers, the troops, no mention of really anything military. And people are giving her a hard time for this. What's your opinion on this? Because I think people gave you a hard time for your Memorial Day tweet when you were president of the United States of America, not just of Mar-a-Lago.
So you mean today?
I mean, last year.
I know what you did last summer.
Not a bad movie. Not a great movie, but not bad
Jennifer
for that
Love
genre.
Jennifer Love Hewitt wanted to date me. Anyway, the no, I think it's a total disgrace. It's like fitting that you know this. Excuse me, you know this. Kamala Harris has always been a total disaster. She doesn't like our country. She doesn't like anything, to be honest. She likes doing stupid dances and with her beta cuck husband, who's white, by the way. So, that's interesting. And I think she hates America. She, I think, is married to a white man just so she can do like degrading things to him in the bedroom and dominate white people.
Do you mean the first? Is he called the First Gentleman? Is that his name?
Well, on Parler and a viral gangbang I posted, he's actually called the fourth beta cock because we wouldn't give him first, second, or third because you get Olympic medals for that. So he's fourth beta cock.
who who are the other three?
No, no. In other words, it's not even that we're just not because somebody could claim, oh well, at least I got the bronze medal. So
I gotcha.
it's to the MAGA movement because MAGA has 4 letters, so 4 is a very empowering number for the MAGA culture. So it's used to shame Doug Hasselhoff or something is his name.
Yeah, I don't know. Usually, the vice president, well, actually, Mother gets some shine. He gets no shine.
Right, because I mean, we don't even call him. I don't even know what you'd call. He's beta cock. He's not even father.
Uh, so you think she did something wrong by not mentioning the troops? I mean, I think she was
Well,
just trying to
excuse me.
say
While I was out golfing today, while I
yes.
was out golfing, I got wind that she had misspoke, and I thought this is the most disgraceful thing I've ever heard on a Memorial Day. And when they gave me actually a veteran, they gave me my caddy was the son of a deceased troop,
Mm,
who we honor on Memory Day, the
yeah.
Memory Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was great to see this young man. I said, I want you to get caddy for me today as a sign of respect to your father, who, you know, decided to volunteer. Which I told his son I thought it was stupid that your father volunteered for the army. He could get killed, and look what happened. He did. And I said, how do you feel having such a stupid father who was kind of a sucker? And he start, he looked upset at that, and I said, okay, well, don't get too upset. I got a lot of golf clubs you have to carry. And at one point he was kind of sobbing, and I said, you think your dead dad would have more respect for you that you're crying on this beautiful golf? I bet your dad would like to be out here on this golf course instead of dead. And he started weeping, and the heavy golf clubs, like he tripped and fell, and the golf clubs fell on him, and he broke his arm. And I said, this is the worst caddying I've ever seen. Right now, your father is probably in hell, hating watching you do this. And when I heard what Kamala Harris had said about Memorial Day weekend, enjoy a 3-day weekend, I'd never heard anything more disrespectful in my life to our great troops.
Your caddies from one week to the next have, have really
But I
lots of
like
stories.
it's about giving opportunities. Everybody, oh, you're so mean, Mr. No, I'm so nice, is what I am. And what I do is I give opportunities. Last week it was to an African American who unfortunately had to go get a golf ball that I hit in the water and he drowned. And this week, we're improving. He only broke his arm, but I think he seemed very upset. I think to hear his president call his father a dumb loser who was in hell, I think opened his eyes and he realized, oh my God, the president is speaking such truth. It's overwhelming me. And he cried. He cried at hearing that. And it's, sometimes, like they say, you can't make an omelet without breaking the spirit of a son of a dead veteran.
I never heard that saying before.
It's a Fred Trump saying.
Okay. Okay. Figures.
This isn't a bonus episode, so I can't go over the Memorial Day tradition of Fred Trump, but let's just say it involved a lot of widows.
Okay. Well, Mr. President, your attorney, who has been infamous for being in many courts on this podcast, Sidney Powell, she recently stated that Trump can just be reinstated. You can be just reinstated as the president, and like
Not a
nothing
lot of
ever
people
happened.
know the law. Not a lot of people know the law as well as Sidney Powell. Sidney knows the law like the back of her kneecap. She knows that law so strong.
What do you think about this? Are you excited? Do you?
Oh, well, it's what I've always thought. I mean, if anybody with a brain has to have known that I could just step in anytime I want. Now I want peace. I want peace. But I think at some point we may not have to. We may not be able to go with peace because we have a real piece of Biden in the White House. And now Sidney Powell knows the law so strongly. I when I talk to her, I'm always amazed at sort of just the knowledge and the fact that to be honest, when I get back in the White House, you better believe she's going to be on the short list for the Supreme Court.
I have a question. How
And she
well?
can write a book from the food court to the Supreme Court, the story of how Sidney Powell, you know, got there. It's a great story.
Now, you said she knows it as well as the back of her kneecap. How well do you know the back of your kneecap?
Oh no, Sidney Powell's sort of she's in. We learned because her and Rudy Giuliani had a thing, and she's got a lot of mirrors in her bedroom.
Okay, did not know this.
Yeah, no, she has a fetish for diarrhea forehead, which is a condition I think people know that Rudy had during the press conference. You heard it here. He was working so hard, the feces were coming out of his head. I don't know anybody who works that hard as a lawyer. And then Sidney Powell, it turns out, is sort of a freak, and so they got together, and she's got mirrors everywhere and actually knows the back of her kneecaps very well.
Well, now I understand why you said that. Now, Mr.
Can you
President,
imagine? Can you imagine Rudy Giuliani hitting it from the back with Sidney Powell?
no, well, I just ate. I'd rather not
I
picture
remember
that in my head.
Rudy was sharing pictures with us at a meeting, and Matt Gaetz was showing us pictures and of his the 8th grade girls softball team that he coaches, and I was like, why don't they have well anyway then Rudy was like, I'll do you one better. You know how he talks, and
Yes.
he showed us a picture, and he was laughing because he goes, well, I'm here from the back. I'm not as good with my Rudy as other people, but he goes, when I'm hitting it from the back, she doesn't know whether it's me or my diarrhea forehead dripping on her back. So it's, this is, everybody's probably lost their lunch by now thinking of Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell. But trust me, I had to share that because when Rudy sat down with us, I I almost fired Rudy on principle because I was like, you don't talk about that great Sydney Powell like that. What goes on between you, Sydney, in your sex dungeon stays between you and Sydney.
Well, thank God we don't have to see those pictures. Now, I know you're
Patreon. We'll put them on Patreon.
you are a huge golf fan. We know this. Do you tennis? And I don't think you I think there was a picture of you playing tennis on the internet. You play sometimes, never.
No, it's my second favorite sport. I'm a great tennis player.
Okay, I did not know
Football
that.
football used to be my second favorite, but then they got very weak, very PC.
Right. Wasn't aggressive enough for you anymore.
What's the point? If I'm not going to see some black get a concussion or paralyzed, what am I watching for?
Right. If you can't go helmet to helmet, then why watch football? I understand. Now, have you heard of this tennis player Naomi Osaka?
Yeah, Shinzo is actually a fan because she identifies as Japanese.
What does Shinzo say about her?
Oh, he's very proud. I mean, he's proud. Shinzo. He's proud. He's always sounds proud, but I could tell he was extra proud of Osaka.
Oh, so you've had conversations with him about Osaka?
Oh, sure. And I said, "Does she Osaka?" And this is no, excuse me. That's sort of Trump, Billy Bush humor. It's just a joke. I don't mean disrespect. And I could tell Shinzo rarely gets angry with me, but he said, "Oh no, the she is a national treasure. Do not disrespect her." And I said, "I understand, Shinzo. I respect your boundaries. We respect that."
Wow, I can. Thought you would come back at him, but you
No, no,
respected it.
this is a good friend of mine.
I
This is a good.
understand.
You have to have some respect. And if he had said something about does Ivanka Isaka, I would have reprimanded him too and said, don't tease me like that. I'm still trying. So we would both have boundaries, and we have to. When you're a friend, you have to respect them.
Understandable. Well, she pulled out of the French Open. I think we talked about this briefly last episode, how she talked about how mental health and when you're interviewed by the press, they get in your head and try to make you doubt yourself. And she says that she opted out of the press conferences before the French Open, but then now pulled out of the French Open due to mental health concerns. And she's taking a break from tennis. What are your thoughts on her stance on the press and mental health? Because I know you've had problems with the press. You didn't take questions during your presidency. Do you agree with her? Do you disagree with her? What's your stance on this?
Okay, first off, correction. I took many questions from many people. I just was very strong with the press. I didn't let them walk all over me. I walked all over them.
Okay.
And I would have private conversations with Chanel Rion of OAN, and those were very nice. And no, I don't respect the fact that she's backing out of the French. The French are a notoriously weak people. And what does that say when a half American, half Japanese person is two very proud countries, America and Japan, very strong countries, and for her to back out is, sort of makes us all look weak. That said, okay, so I don't like that part of it. But that said, I think she's kind of right, to be honest, about the fake news. They try to tear you down, they try to be disrespectful, and I think she's correct there. And so I have some sympathy for her. If I found her more attractive, I would probably have more sympathy. But no, I think she makes some good points overall. I disagree. I think she should still fight. I think she should throw a tennis racket at the press when she doesn't like them. I think that would be how I would react as an athlete, and I was a strong athlete, but
Mhm.
she's not everybody's as strong as me. And sometimes we have to have sympathy. And I think personally that the black half of her just doesn't want to work. But, you know, we'll take her at her word for now.
Have you spoken to Shinzo since she pulled out due to her mental health concerns?
No, I have not. I have not, but I'm sure he'll be calling me tonight. He takes great pride in Osaka.
Yeah, I mean I agree with you. I think that the press, they do more harm to athletes than helping athletes. It's all about getting the headlines, and negative things grab people's attention more than positive things. So if you can have an athlete flip out on you, or you can get into an athlete's head, like I don't know if you remember a long time ago on Sports Center where there was an interview with Jim Everett, a quarterback
That was
of,
Jim Rome. That was on Jim
yes,
Rome's show, and that was great.
and he kept calling him Chris after the female tennis player. And Jim Everett just started flipping out on him and got really angry. It's happened with Mike Tyson also, where people in the press bring up, years later, and they bring up the rape case, and they bring up
Don't you tech stuff? Are you with me? Don't you hate it when people keep asking you about your 26 rape allegations? It's like, get over yourself already. You know what I'm talking about. It's a total disgrace.
I don't know personally, but I'm sure you can feel for Tyson and Jim Everett and this lovely lady,
Ted
Naomi
Bundy, another
Osaka.
person who was treated very unfairly.
Well, he was a serial killer. I don't know how unfairly he was treated.
Well, where I'm from, being a lady killer is a compliment.
Now, we have some exciting news for the Patreon. Um, now, if we hit a certain mark on the Patreon, we are going to print up Idaho Militia Christian T-shirts for cost.
Excuse
We're
me,
not going to make,
excuse me, Bible Tech State College. Okay, put some
okay.
respect on its name.
Well, okay. Bible Tech State College. We
You
will
didn't
be.
even ask me how my, what we should give to the Patreon people.
What should we give?
What if your president recorded, or I should say, obtained the recording of the Idaho Militia Christian Bible Tech State College commencement address,
That would be an awesome bonus for the Patreon for sure.
only for the $10 people.
Also, only the highest level.
Well, no, you know what? Well, no, correction.
That should be
We
given
will
to
we will
everyone.
put we will put that up in June for all levels of Patreon.
So, if we hit $2,000 mark on the Patreon, we'll be making up these shirts. We will not be making a penny off these shirts, and we will be giving
Selling them at cost.
at cost. Okay, and also, so that's
But here,
if,
if I may, I speak tech
of
stuff.
course, of course.
Thank you, sir. And that was a sarcastic sir. Here's the deal. We've been delivering you radical left guest stars, and we've got some more planned. You got Richard Marx and Fauci and Bradley Whitford and all these people that I don't even like. We've been delivering these people. We've been doing strong episodes. I don't think we missed a Monday. It's going to be 3 years in June, by the way. Or I think it started in March. I think we're past 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't think we've missed a week. So what we're asking, we want to make these t-shirts, but we want more people involved in the Patreon world because we have these great bonus episodes. We have the live episodes, and we want to get these t-shirts, and we're going to put more bonus stuff out to make it worth. Even the sort of cheap mapiggers will maybe join. So this is the time. Over the next few weeks, join up. Even if it's at the lowest level, you're still going to be getting multiple pieces of bonus content, and you get the early episodes. You get the episodes early every week. Do it. You will not regret it. You can catch up on literally a year's worth of bonus content, even if you just join now. And the more the merrier. Tech Stuff now has a second child, which, I know what that's like. I have 2 kids. And, so we want the support, and we want to deliver more of the bonus to more of our fans and strong supporters. So get on it. This week, join at some level, and I don't think you'll regret it. Nobody. I think you would agree. Nobody ever regrets.
No.
One time, some guy's wife wrote to us, some beta cuck who had joined the Patreon, and she was, "Sir, the way you're talking about AOC's D cups is very offensive, sir." And I said, we're kicking your husband out of the Patreon because we don't need nasty wives trying to tell us to not talk about AOC's D's.
I agree. Now, I heard a rumor. Besides the commencement speech for June, is this true that a poll will be given
That may,
out?
you know what, I have to
Yeah.
be honest, that may have to be a exclusive, temporary exclusive. I think the commencement to Idaho Militia Christian, you'll get it in June, but I think the rest of the world may get it in July. It may
Okay.
be that special.
Now, will there also be a bonus June
You know
episode
what?
where a
Correction. No, it
yes.
won't, because I just can tell there were some piggers out there who were going, well, then I'll just wait till July. Well, guess what? I take it back. Exclusive Patreon.
Exclusive Patreon, old Patreon. And then also I heard that you were going to do a um get either Don Jr., Mike Lindell, or there was someone else to
Big
possibly
game Mike Pence.
Big Game Mike Pence to host a bonus episode. Mike Pence has hosted a bonus episode before, but an extra bonus
And you
episode for
and you
June.
don't have to, you know what? Whoever the tech stuff guy is that week was very happy with Mike Pence.
He was very flattering.
Well, I bet he was.
So sign up patreon.com/mpga. You will get a commencement speech for Idaho Militia Christian Tech College.
Okay, you know what? This is so disrespectful to the
What's their
AK,
mascot?
the AR-15 Potato Trump. This is so disrespectful to the AR-15 Potato Trumps of Idaho Militia Christian Bible Tech State College. It's a simple name. It's a very strong school. It's actually in the top 100 two-year public technical college state universities in Idaho. So a very, very strong school. And you know, we're gonna get to this because we have some problems with our Patreon president. Okay, the people who are not members of the Perfect 10 world, they don't know this. We have a president. We had a great president, Tom Fitzgerald, who missed a meeting, and we had an impeachment, and we elected in the most non-racist Patreon election ever. We elected an African American president. But as it turns out, after like 1 month as president, he misses the next month. And then, speaking of Osaka, I saw that he was very supportive of Osaka skipping the French Open today. So he's been posting nothing but sort of radical left things. He's missing meetings. So we are declaring right now that he is impeached, and there will be a new election between so-called President Rudley, Vice President Tom Fitzgerald, and Otto the dog.
Oh, so just no new people are allowed
No new
to.
people. It's those three. We will have a strong decision to make, and we will let the vote. They will make their case, and we will let the Patreon Perfect Tens vote.
They should have speeches prepared, Mr. President.
All three should have speeches,
Yes.
and perhaps they can get some lessons from the Idaho Militia Christian Bible Tech State College commencement that I post. But the point is, if you've liked the show, we're coming out of the Trump economy has survived the Biden pandemic, and it's the time to support the show. And so we can get those t-shirts made, and so we can, have great gatherings on the Patreon.
That's right. So we'll have patreon.com/mpga for June. You will get a commencement speech extra. You will get an extra bonus episode hosted.
Excuse me. I want to make this clear. I don't think you're making it very clear.
I'm making it very clear.
No,
The commencement speech.
What I want to let them know is every month there's already a bunch of content, but here's your total content for June. 2 bonus episodes, one of which will be the commencement address from Idaho Militia Christian Bible Tech State College. So you get the bonus episode and the commencement. On top of that, you get the movie reviews. On top of that, there's going to be not 1, but 2 live episodes. One with me, and we will do the new election, and the other one will be whoever people decide they want to see: Mike Lindell, Mike Pence, or Don Jr. having their own special Q&A episode. So it's and then you get the episodes early every week. You get them a day and a half early every week. So unbelievable opportunity. And if we
And the
get to
re-election.
2000, well, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I said that.
Okay.
And if we get to the 2000 mark, now we're going to have very affordable Idaho Militia Christian Bible Tech State College T-shirts. The AR-45 potato trumps.
Well, I am very excited for that. And that's patreon.com/MPGA. Mr. President, I wanted to ask you about your boy, Bibi. We had a lot of feedback about
He is strong.
your
He is
impression
strong.
of Bibi is on point. People were saying there's a political coalition, the far right and the left. They want him out. He right now, I think, is the longest standing. Well, he would be another prime minister, but he's got these legal allegations. The longest in power out of all of Israel, even the person who founded Israel. What are your thoughts on your boy Bibi possibly on the way out, where you would have to make a new friend in Israel?
Well, I very easily make new
Yes,
friends,
you were very friendly.
but I stand with Bibi. I stand with tough Bibi because we call him the Bibi gun, because he is as tough as they come. And it reminds me of myself, to be honest. Nasty allegations. And then you have people on the right, fake supporters and radical left people joining forces. And that should tell you everything about Bibi and how similar he is to me. It takes all these groups to form together to stop him because he's so strong. And I think I talked to Bibi on the phone.
What do you say?
Well, he was, you know what? I got to say, he is as tough, even Shinzo's tough and proud, but sometimes, Shinzo can break a little bit, but tough Bibi, you don't crack that walnut. I picked up the phone. I said, Bibi, what are you thinking about this new coalition? And he said, Donald, this is a coalition of the pathetic, the stupid, and the weak. And I said, wow, nothing's going to crack you, Bibi, is it? And he said, there is no mercy in this dojo. And I said, at Bibi Dojo, we respect it. You got to respect it.
When you go over to Israel again, have you thought about taking a class at Bibi Dojo from Bibi?
Well, he's actually decided to start a new sort of, because he loves teaching, but he's decided he wants to make sure his fighting skills are still tough. So he's formed a tournament called the Bibi Tay. And he has a fighting name, like a stage name, but he has a fighting name. It's Bibi Dukes. And he said to me, in 2 days, I will win the Bibi Tay. And he actually saw a friend. He saw a friend get hurt during the Bibi Tay. And he went, no.
Now, did he fight the guy who hurt his friend?
He did. It was a guy. He was like one of these guys. He moved his pecs. One of these guys who's always bopping his pecs. And he beat the crap out of him.
Bibi didn't have like any sort of illegal action by this guy during the
the guy
fight?
The guy, I remember he threw like some dust in his eyes, and Bibi went, I cannot see. I have to use my training. And he ended up beating the crap out of the guy, and it was great. And we called that Bibi sport.
That's great. Bibi's awesome. I want to hang out with Bibi one time.
Tough Bibi. I told you, he is tough. So strong.
Speaking of toughness, your immigration policies were extremely tough for the United States. And now Sleepy Joe is currently loosening up, making immigration easier, basically revising all your policies. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's unbelievably weak on the part of Sleepy Joe. He wants immigrants to come into our country, take all of our jobs, take our housing, take free benefits, murder our women and have sex with them after they're murdered. That's the Biden agenda. It's the Biden immigrant agenda, is to destroy America.
I did not know that. Do you think there's going to be people who are going to be very upset with him, just like people were very upset with you when concerning ICE and concerning separating children from their parents? Do you think there's going to be a lot of uproar with his policy changes?
Well, I think when you have the suburbs lit on fire and everybody's children being, drowned in the river by immigrants, I think you're going to see that people are very upset. And I predicted it here. You're going to have floods and locusts and all other sorts of things attacking our children when the Biden immigrant policy comes through.
So you think there is going to be plagues when Biden's policies go through?
I think we are definitely going to have plogways.
That's how you pronounce it?
Well, I use the Mexican pronunciation so that people don't forget. The left likes to make things sound safe, like, oh, it's a plague, and it's like, no, actually, it's a plogway.
I didn't know that. I learned so much from you every single week, Mr. President, and I appreciate it.
I don't approve of most books, but I remember when I wrote my strong book, The Art of the Deal, I said, start with chapter 1. I don't want a prologue way, and I don't want an epilogue way, because this is an American book.
Totally understand that. I totally understand that, Mr. President. I'm glad you had a great Memorial Day. You paid tribute to very important troops who lost their lives for our country. I'm really excited to hear what happens with Bibi. And please speak to Shinzo this week. I want to hear what happens, what his thoughts are with Naomi.
I might actually get on a 3-way call with Shinzo and Bibi, Abe and Bibi.
That would be awesome. If you can record that, I'd love to hear it.
I call them Bibi.
It's a combination of them. It's a mashup conversation.
And then I play ABBA in the background. And Mike Pence comes in and says, Mr. President, let me know when Dancing Queen comes on. And I say, get the hell out of here, big gay Mike.
Oh, geez. Mr. President, thank you so much, as always, for spending time with us each and every week. Like you said before, you have not missed a Monday yet. And plus, with the bonus episodes and extra bonus episodes for June, it's going to be very exciting, especially on the Patreon. That's patreon.com/MPGA. You heard everything we're offering. It is
June, as you know, we've talked about this, or I've talked about it with other tech stuff people.
It's Bibi's month.
June is the month for the Jewish people. That's why they call it June.
Yes.
And we're doing, let's just say we're being extra generous, which is maybe not always what people think of when they think of the month of June.
My birthday's in June too.
And you're a Kushner. Look at that.
It all works out.
And and the other tech stuff guy said, sir, June is not for the Jewish people. Oh, it isn't. It isn't. Well, look, you're a Kushner and you're having a birthday in your month. So I stand corrected.
Well, Mr. President, thank you as always. And if you have any parting words for the listeners, the floor is yours.
Thank you, listeners. It's like our sweeps month. Okay, it's a big month they call it content. Hello, everybody. It's JL. Thank you for listening. Just 2 things, 3 things, the usual. Check out Righteous PK podcast on Apple or Spotify. Another excellent episode this week. And then June 10th, guys. It's the holiday marking the end of JL's slavery as opposed to Juneteenth. June 10th, I headline the Hartford Funny Bone. So if you are anywhere near Hartford, Connecticut, folks, you got to get there, and you got to get your tickets in advance before they can paper the room. And then all of a sudden, don't give me credit for those people. So get tickets now. If you're anywhere near there, I will be eternally grateful. And then the weekend after, I am opening for Roy Wood Jr. at Governor's in Levittown, Long Island. So big June, busy June. A lot of making podcasts great again. Some good shows as well. So any and all support is greatly appreciated. As always, Jay and I thank you for listening to the show, for continuing to support it in whatever way you do, and God help us all.